What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? As y'all come in, tap the screen. Tap the screen. Tap the screen. Do your girl a solid and tap the screen. Let's see. We're talking about first-time home ownership and why haven't you guys bought a house yet? What's holding you back? What's going on? What's going on? What's stopping you from buying a house? I can tell you what stopped me for the longest time. I had poor credit, and I spent a year working on my credit only to still be denied. Yep, I got my credit where I wanted it to be and I was still denied because I didn't know. I got my credit where I wanted it to be and I was still denied. I worked on my credit for a year with a lender. Got my credit up to a 680. And I was applying for a VA loan. And 2 weeks before closing, the loan fell through. 2 days before closing, the loan fell through. And so, as you can imagine, especially going through what I was going through, I was horrified. I was traumatized. I was recently separated from my husband. I just had twin preemie babies, and I had 2 older children. And we were living in a hotel because prior to applying for the loan on the house, we got screwed over by a landlord. The landlord was kept on telling us, give him more time to renovate, give him more time to renovate. My lease was ended in my apartment, and so I rented a hotel, giving him more time to renovate. But guess what happened? Two days before we're supposed to move in, I couldn't get him. I couldn't get a hold of him. He already had half of my down payment money, and we were ready to move in. I had to get out of the hotel. I had 4 kids staying in a hotel, and I had to get out of there. So I finally got a hold of the guy, and he basically screwed me over. He gave the apartment that he just renovated to his brother. His brother just came home from prison, I guess, or came home from somewhere. I don't know why I said prison. I'm assuming prison maybe, because who does that? But his brother came home from where, I don't know, and he gave his brother the apartment that he was supposed to be renovating for me. And so imagine me recently separated, manager at a full-time, very busy call center, and I'm working 50 hours, 60 hours a week, and I have 2 new preemies at home. I have 2 older kids that are in middle school and high school, and here I am in this hotel room stuck with my 4 kids going through so much, and now this guy is telling me that he just gave my apartment to his brother. And I'm gonna tell you, I was so angry and so traumatized. Usually I'm a fighter. Usually I'm like, you know what? Well, just give me my money back. You know, I think at that point I gave him like $800 to hold it or something like that. $800. It wasn't a whole deposit, but it was just something to hold it so he wouldn't rent it. And he rented it anyway to somebody else, his family member. So, as you could imagine, I was in a bad space, and I came to this conclusion. I said, you know what? You've worked on your credit for a year. Your credit is decent. You know, I was like a 680, and I worked on it with my VA lender. They basically, I did it myself, but they were holding me accountable, you know, checking in with me every couple of months. And I said, hey, why don't I just go ahead and buy my house? You know, I've been on the job more than 2 years. You know, my income is steady. I have some savings. I had about maybe 11 to 13,000 saved in the bank. And I'm like, you know what? Let me go ahead and purchase my home. So listen, I worked on my credit score. I had 680 credit score. I had a steady job for over 2 years. I didn't have really any debt. You know what I mean? I didn't really have any debt. But I'm bleeding out here because I'm in the hotel and I'm running through my savings because this hotel is like $1,000 a week because I need space, right? I couldn't be in just a little single, one room with 2 beds. I had a 17-year-old son, 11-year-old daughter, and then I had preemie twins. There is no way that we were fitting in, a regular hotel room with 2 queen size bed long term, and we're going on 2 months. And so I had to get a larger hotel, kind of like a suite, but not really a suite, but and it costs more. So I was paying about, $1,000, approximately $1,000 a week, and that was the deal. Okay, that was the deal because before the deal, I was paying probably about $1,400 a week to stay here. And so I'm going through my savings. I couldn't, trying to keep up with my bills, my car note, and I'm like, I can't afford to fall behind on my car note. You know what I mean? I can't afford to fall behind my car note because now if I'm going to get a home, I need everything to be copacetic. So I reached out. I really didn't know the steps. I really didn't know what it took to buy a home. I knew I had to fix my credit. That's what everybody fixates on, right? Credit. Get your credit right. Get your credit right. You got to get your credit right. So everybody fixates on getting their credit right. And I did that. I worked on my credit for a year. I had no clue. I had no idea what I was getting into. I had no clue. I had no idea what the debt to income ratio and the calculations of the money. I thought I made pretty decent money, so I'm like, I'm good there. For a single mom at the time, my single income, I was making about $60,000 a year. I didn't have much debt. I had a couple little marks, on my credit, but I'm like, I think I'm pretty solid. I've been on my job for like 3 years, steady income, get a raise every 6 months, every year I'm getting a raise. I'm like, I'm good. I found a realtor. She kind of walked me through the hoops, introduced me to her lender, a lender she recommended. I didn't like his rate. He couldn't get me approved for the rate I wanted. I went out and got a different lender. He got me approved, got me a pre-approval, and I started looking for a house. I was excited. I'm like, we are going to finally buy a house. Yay. And I looked at a couple of houses and, would meet with the real estate agent. And so I found this really cool house, really fell in love with it. This really nice house was like 2-story, or was it 2-story or 3-story? It was 2 stories, 6 bedroom, fully renovated, beautiful house. Had an entertainment center, had entertainment room, a separate entertainment room, 6 bedrooms, and each bedroom had its own bathroom. And then on top of the 6 bedrooms, there was a mother-in-law suite. Oh, and it was like only about $10,000 over my pre-approval. So I'm like, we can negotiate this. And my realtor did a fantastic job with the negotiation. At first, they relented and they agreed to my pre-approval. And before we could get the contract over, somebody came with a higher offer. They not only were willing to pay the asking price for the house, they paid like $15,000 above price. And of course, the sellers were not going to let that pass up. So I lost that deal. I was bummed, disappointed, sucked. Me and the kids were all bummed. But we went on. We kept on looking for a house, and we found another beautiful house. Not as fantastic as that one, but I'm like, hey, it's my first home. It doesn't matter. As long as you're comfortable, it's a nice house. Let's do it. I locked in that deal. The seller was a veteran. I was a veteran. He gave me the offer over all the other people. Had like 7 people on the list that wanted to buy, that put an offer in. He gave it to me at a discount, just on the strength of us being veterans. And so he accepted the offer, went to underwriting. And while I'm waiting for underwriting, I get cold chills when I tell this story, because I still remember that feeling, that devastating, sinking. I blacked out, guys. I just went cold. I never blacked out before that, and I have never blacked out since. I blacked out. That's how devastating this was. And I was driving and almost ended up in a lake. Okay? Almost ended up in a lake. I snapped awake right before, and how I woke up was a car was going to T-bone me. I was driving into traffic across the street, directly across from us was a lake. And what snapped me out of this blackout was the car laying on its horn because they were about to hit me because I'm rolling into traffic. I was blacked out. I snapped out of it, turned the wheel really quick, slammed on the brakes, avoided the lake, avoided getting T-boned. And I sat there, shook for a minute. I was denied. The loan fell through 2 weeks before closing. Some issue with my the VA loan certificate, and the rules and discrepancy about my DD-214, and I didn't serve enough time. I'm like, what are you talking about? Then I saw that there was an error on my DD-214 that I didn't notice. They literally left a year off of my service time, and that left me shy of being eligible for the VA loan. Devastated. Not only devastated, really upset and really angry because I had a lender with the VA that I worked with for a year, and he didn't catch this. He didn't catch it until we went to underwriting. And when I say devastating. And everything just spiraled from there. And long story short, because my battery's running low here, long story short, we ended up renting the house and trying to work with the VA to correct my DD-214. And I was so worn out at the end of it all. I just agreed to move out at the end of the 6 months or 8 months. I think we moved in October, we moved out in July. So whatever that is. I moved out so they can sell their house. I didn't want to hold them up any longer, waiting for me to fix my issues with Veteran Affairs. So we ended up back renting, and that's where we stayed for about 4 more years. I was crushed, I was devastated, I was traumatized. And I think the backdrop to me creating this diagnostic is a big part of it. I wanted to create this diagnostic. I went on to become a realtor myself and got my real estate license and got my own experience with real estate. And I think the backdrop to me developing this diagnostic is that experience that I had. I wish I had this diagnostic back then that I could take in the comfort of my home, answer the questions, go through all the steps, and have a clear picture at the end of it when I push submit, that I know where I'm at, what I need to verify, what do I need to get, so on and so forth. So I could avoid that crushing letdown that I had when my loan fell through 2 weeks before closing. It still gives me pause. I still feel it. And I really wish I didn't, because it's so weird talking about it. I still feel it so heavily. It affected me so much. And I feel like it's a big part of why I created this diagnostic, because I want to help other people avoid that crushing feeling, that letdown feeling, being blindsided by stuff that you know nothing about, being blindsided about things that you're not familiar with. You're in a different territory. Unless you've purchased a house before, you don't know what to expect. And people that have purchased houses, by the time they're done purchasing, they're so overwhelmed and glad to get through it, they can't really tell you half of the stuff that happened, because they were in a whirlwind. Everything was moving fast and slow at the same time. They will tell you this. So your friends and your family, while they may be able to refer a realtor to you or a lender, really explaining the process in a way that you could understand it, a lot of times it's lacking. A lot of times it's not going to be, as thorough as it needs to be for you to really prepare yourself mentally to purchase the home. Purchasing a home is one of the, if not the most expensive and the most challenging things that a lot of us would do as far as our finances is concerned. It's something that you definitely don't want to do haphazardly. You don't want to jump into it like I did. Just had a bright idea out of a hotel room to just buy a home on the whim, and I had to face the consequences of that. This diagnostic allows you to take, to answer questions. It takes you about 15 minutes. It's 6 sections. And it allows you to really get a portrait, a snapshot, a detailed snapshot of how you fare in every area that the lender is looking at, what you need to do to fix it, and your projected closing date if you follow the roadmap that the diagnostic gives you. Things like improving your credit, things like getting your debt down, paying down your debt, things like maybe increasing your income, increasing your savings, the money that you have saved in an account, and how long it will take you once you do that to close on your home. Very detailed, breaks it down in 6 sections, the 6 sections that the lenders are looking at to qualify you. Listen, some people, you can't even go and finance a car and you're talking about buying a house. Listen, this is a loan, guys. This is a $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 loan. Think about that. This is a multi-$1,000 loan. Thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Wrap your mind around it. Hundreds of thousands of dollars that you're asking the bank to loan you. And so you want to be prepared when they ask you for something. You want to be prepared with the answer. You want to be prepared with the documentation. You want to be prepared with the process so that you're not blindsided and let down at the end of it all. This diagnostic will help you prepare for your home buyer journey. My company, Kingfluence Financial, we offer the diagnosis, but also after you get the diagnostic, and we also give you a free coaching session. You would sit with an advisor on the phone or Zoom, however you prefer, and they would go over the diagnostic with you, clarify any questions that you may have, give you some direction and advice, and send you on your way. If you desire any of our services, we can package our services for you to help you, to work alongside you, to help you get to your goal move-in date. And we also have packages that will do everything for you, and all we do is check in with you once a month to let you know where you are, and then you'll have a portal also that you can log into to check and see your status of everything. But the most important thing I want to leave with you is everybody deserves a home. The home buying process should not be difficult. It should not be tedious. It should not be stressful. It should be a happy, enjoyable experience. My goal with this diagnostic and the work that we do with Kingfluence Financial is to change the way the real estate industry treats consumers when it comes to the underwriting process and purchasing a home. This is just the beginning, but we have a lot of plans in effect to really make an impact on the buying experience for the home purchaser. Okay, but it starts with this diagnostic. We appreciate your support. I thank you guys for joining me on this live. If you are interested in taking the diagnostic, it is located in the link on my bio. Click on the link and take the diagnostic, and schedule an advisement with one of our counselors. It is free. It's included with the diagnostic price. And if you have any questions, feel free to inbox me. Feel free to ask me any questions on the inbox. Whatever I can answer you, I will answer you. But yeah, thank you guys for your support. Thank you so much for your attention and your time today. I really appreciate each and every one of you taking the time to listen to me rant and rave about my failed experience at home ownership a few years ago and what I got out of it. I developed a business and I developed an answer to that situation. I don't want anybody to feel the way I felt going through that process. And so I created this diagnostic. This is just one part of it, guys. This is a very, very small part of the actual system that I'm building with my company, Kingfluence Financial. So my goal with the infrastructure that I'm building, that I'm creating with FinTech, is to make everyday Americans' lives easier and more affordable by working with the systems that are in place that have been built to keep us stuck or to keep us out. I want to build a bridge of inclusion and force them, knock the doors down to let us in. So guys, I appreciate your support. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time and attention to this live and my ranting and raving. And I will catch you guys on the next live. Okay, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.